Hi, I wanted to talk for a few minutes about the process capability for this PDI data. Now, as you recall from our conversation about CPK in the classroom, we compare the we compare the actual average X bar to the upper and lower specification limits or tolerance limits, and then we divide it by 3 times the standard deviation. The problem with the data that we have is that the spec limits are jumping all over the place, and so is the time to customer, which is in column G, or minutes to customer. Now, the way to solve this problem is to create a new column, and I'm going to put it in a column U. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to call it normalized. Normalized, not moralized, not normalized. Excuse me, normalized data. Okay, or normalized minutes to customer. So let me finish that up here. All right. Now, the way we're going to normalize it is we have the upper spec limit in O, and we have the lower spec limit in P, and you'll notice that every time those are 15 minutes apart. And we can properly assume, that the target value is the in between those two, is in fact exactly in the middle of those two. So if what I do is I take the average of those two, I'll get in the top case I'll get 28.1 minutes, I think, and I'm going to subtract that from the minutes to customer, and that will give me the normalized minutes to customer. So let me just put the formula in for you. So this is equal to my minutes to customer, okay, minus the average, open in parentheses, and then I want the lower spec limit and the upper spec limit, close the parentheses, and hit enter. And so the first one's minus 5.4. Now, if the target, the logic is like this: if the target is 28.1, like the average of those two, so or the middle in between those two, and we got there actually in 22, then we got there early. So minus numbers or early numbers are minus numbers, and I can copy that all the way to the bottom of the data like this. I know this is a slow way to do it. All right, now that didn't recalculate. That sometimes happens with the way the spreadsheet's set up. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to data. No, I can't. Oh, calculation. So calculations off. Let's recalculate the thing. And so here we have the numbers. Okay. They're all calculated. You can go through that. So in case you have problems, you just go to formulas and then calculate now. And then I'm going to put the average here in the standard deviation. So because we need X bar, which is the average of these new numbers. So this is equal to average. Open parentheses. Highlight this whole mess. Oops, too far. Close parentheses. So that's the average, and I just put it by and standard deviation. I'll calculate that here, equals STDEV. With this many, it doesn't really matter which one you use. You might want to use STDEV.S, but it doesn't. The number won't be a big enough difference to make any problem. All right, so now I've got the average and the standard deviation, and then you'd ask, okay, what's the lower lower tolerance limit is minus 7.5, and the upper tolerance limit is 7.5. And once you have all those numbers, then you can, so that the upper and lower tolerance limit give you that 15-minute window. And once you have all those numbers, then you can calculate the CPK.